Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and we're back with another Digimon video. Now, about a month ago, Billiam, YouTuber, he made a video called The Deep Dive on the Digimon Virtual Pets. And he had mentioned that the 20th he mentioned that the Digimon Monster 20th anniversary was about $10, and it was not about like $20 actually. And it contained versions 1 through 5, no problem. And also had like a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, said Digivice you can find on Amazon for about $17, $18, depending on give or take. I believe that is correct from all my research. And I was got to thinking that Digimon Liberator, it has the card game, but it doesn't have any much other products. And I was thinking that, what if they did some sort of Digivice toys, and what would the lineups look like? And like maybe they would have each Digivice would be dual color, potentially, and then it would have a series of Digimon on it. So today's episode, in this video, we're going to look at the kind of color combinations, see what we can do. Maybe they could be sold around like $12, maybe 20, or like a dual pack or something to have both of them. And we're going to go based off of the... We're going to go based off the color version for the 3 megas, as that is what pretty much every character has, is they have like 3 megas, give or take. Though there are some exceptions to the rule, which we'll get into in just a moment. So first up, we have... we'll go over here. First up, we have our man Shoto Kazuma. And of course, the egg is going to be, Yokomon, then Fluffymon, and the 2 rookies are going to be Terramon and Muchomon. And then typically in the Digivice toys, we have the champion rows. We have Gaomon, Kakatorimon, because, that's Muchomon's champion. And then we got some outsiders for the pick. We got a couple armors. I was thinking Terramon. And is that... Hold on. Is that what it is? Hold on. Tyrannomon? Not... Oh yeah, Terra... Okay, so Terramon. Okay, so Terramon and then Terramon. And then, of course, we have Kiwimon, because that was in the starter deck. Bergermon, because there was a Biomon in there. Toucanemon kind of makes a little bit of sense. Kind of seems like I'm a good Muchomon champion. And then Daitrimon, because we did have the Falcomon. So, all set and good. Then finally, we have the Ultimates being Grangalemon, Parrotmon, and Daramon. These were all featured in the starter deck. And then, of course, Zaphagamon, Eaglemon, and Medieval Gallantmon, because these are all the megas that Shoto Kazuma has. So, pretty standard, basic, easy to work with. Following that, we have Oandredmon, so it would be a green-red Digivice. And we have Jiraimon, Gigimon for the trainings. And, of course, the rookies are Elizamon and Agumon, because, of course, he does have those. And then for the champions, we have, the standard Dimetramon, Cyclomon, which we did see. But I was thinking for champions, we'll do a Restordamon, because I was trying to think of a good evolutionary line that would go into the new Mega, which we'll get into. I know some people are not going to be happy with the choice, but I have my reasons. And then, of course, we have Striker Dramon, because, we have a Cyber Dramon. Dinohumon is another Dragonkin. Male Dramon, it just kind of reminds me a little bit of Dimetramon, so it's a cyborg, but I think you could pass it off as like Dragonkin or even Reptile. And then Flairizamon, kind of another Dragonkin choice. And then Red Vidramon, another choice that I think would work perfectly. Of course, the Ultimates, we would have Lamiamon, Cyberdramon, and then of Restordramon Superior Mode. The Ultimates, because we have our Restordramon. Then Megas, Medusamon, Wargreymon, and then Victory Greymon. I know a lot of people would probably do Dorbuckmon for this case, but I just feel like Victory Greymon is more in tune. Like, I feel like Cyberdramon would go more into it. I know that there's a possibility for viruses, but I don't know. I feel like, because like if you're doing like in terms of the booster packs and everything, we're gonna have a villains pack, and I don't see the Dorbuckmon meshing with that with that group, even if it's Dragonkin. And the previous versions don't necessarily work with it. Like if you look, like I think the one from EX3 does, but not the original one. And then Victory Greymon is actually, like I saw like Digipanda use it potentially. Like Victory Greymon can work nicely. Like it's not perfect, but it can synergize with the rest of the group. So that's why I kind of chose Victory Greymon as opposed to Dorabikmon. Also, the Dorabikmons can't absorb the dragon. I think it can't absorb the reptile, so it can only absorb the Dragonkin. So that's one thing I saw that would be that. So that could be a bit of an issue with at least the EX3 version. Now we'll move on, and this one. Let's move on to the more weirder ones. So give me a minute or just a sec. Let's go with the Kinosaki sisters. And the reason this is... So last night, of course, we got Mirai Kinosaki, and she has the exact same babies. And this threw everything off. And of course, we haven't seen the card reveals, potentially your secondary partner. On top of that, Arise is supposed to get another Mega in BT23. So this is just a kind of a prototype version. But I'm thinking... Well, if they got the same in training, let's just make this big collaboration. Just make it a yellow-purple version, which is much like Hanayamon, and just go nuts with it. So we have the Pafumon, and then the Kiaramon, then Shumon. The rookies, of course, being Junkmon, and then of course we have the Hanayamon, and then extra little bonus with the rookies. We have Sistermon's Blanc. And then for champions, we have Shushumon, Tobu Catmon. Oh man. The champion. Hold on. I think I do know the name of it. Kokishimon. So Kokishimon. Nohemon, because Nohemon would kind of plays well with Pumpkinmon and then Noble Pumpkinmon. And of course, Sistermon Noir and CL. Noir seems like a good, has the guns and everything. That would be like a good champion for him for Shipperomon. And then, given that Karakuramon has the blades and everything, that would be Sistermon CL. Then, of course, for Ultimates, we have Shipperomon, Pandamon, because that's based on the card artist. Karakuramon, and then Pumpkinmon. Pumpkinmon's probably going to make a return. Is going to be the purple side for Hanayamon, potentially, if they give her a second evolution line. And of course, the Megas, we have Sendramon, Shinmonzemon, Kaguamon, Noble Pumpkinmon, and then we had the three versions of the Sistermon duo. So Sistermon Noir Awaken, Sistermon Seal Awaken, and Sistermon Blanc Awaken. So we have that. Now we have that group going for us. Then we'll move on to the next pairing. So let's do with Violet Inboots. She's the last of the other girls. I was thinking if you're going to do a dual pack, you would do Violet Inboots and Close, and also the Kinosaki sisters potentially. I think I do have a bit of an idea. Well, we're just more about pairing rather than the grouping. But then we have I forget the smoke guy's name. But of course we have Demi-Marimon, Ghostmon, and Candlemon. Those are the two rookies. Bakimon, Soulmon, and then we have more ghosts. We have Panchomon. Marimon, he's just a flaming ghost. Mad Leomon, you could kind of make he's a ghost type, and it kind of works with the other Mega that have been planned. I know that a lot of people would want the Three Musketeers, but that would be a very big one, and I think that would have to remain exclusive. That would have to force into a more exclusive role, and I don't want that at the moment. I don't think it's necessary. Shademon, of course, looks like a ghost, and then Troopmon, you could kind of make him a ghost. And then Gold Numimon, I felt like he kind of has like a halo, so he could work as a ghost potentially. Then for the Ultimates, we have Phantomon, Metal Phantomon, Mummymon, so it's kind of mixing a little bit of the undead. Just have dual pairing, and then Necromon, Reapermon, and then Pheromon. So yeah, there's not a lot of ghost-based Megas. And I could see them you could do the Three Musketeers, But I don't know. I just kind of want to stick more of the ghostly vibe or like ghostly undead vibe, but it kind of making it a little bit more original. I don't know. I didn't want to do the Three Musketeers. I wanted something that could potentially work. And I don't know. I could see him mixing up the Three Musketeers, but at the same time, no. Next up, we have Close, and we actually have some information about Close, actually. Close is getting a level 7, so we could probably scratch off a champion and put that in, but we do have, for the versions, Sunamon, and then Goromon, or for the in trainings, and then we have Sunarizamon and Gatsumon. And then champions, of course, we have Landramon, Goemon, and then, of course, we have Icemon, because it matches Gatsumon, Baboongamon, because he was with the original Sunarizamon. I chose Gigasmon because he kind of fits with the more Golem vibe-ish and rather than Grumblemon. And I think he's also Mineral. And then we have Digmon. And I chose Nice Dremojimon because, Dremojimon is first. So the Nice one is like maybe a fake version. So maybe he's secretly a mineral type. And then Mud Frigimon just looks like a mineral or a rock. Then we have Proganamon. Gogamon, and then, of course, Meteormon, and, of course, the Megas are Pyramidimon and Bonchogomon, and then Blastmon, Blastmon is coming, so maybe Blastmon could work with it, even if it's Crosswords related. So that's that kind of pairing. I guess, yeah, I know what we're going to do next. Okay. Let's do Black and White. We have Cool Boy, and we're going to do Zenith. Now, this was my first idea with Cool Boy. I was wanting something a bit unique. I have other ideas for someone else, which is why I went with. So we have Punimon, Tokamon X, because I wanted to keep the white version, but that wasn't 100%. Then we have Koguamon X, just because it just seemed like a natural X-Antibody form. I go with a little bit more of the machine-based. And with what we see, then we have the Genkis, the Timbits, so the Metabots without the stuff, because he's got like the little toys, and I want it to be actually white. Then of course we have Omekamon, Thunderballmon, because we have Koguamon X, and then we have Greymon X, Garurumon X, makes sense, since we have Omegamon X down here in the bottom. But I wanted to go with the Metabots theme, keep it white, so we have Metabee and Rakusho. We have Messiah, and Cross Messiah, and then we have Omega Knight for the champion forms. Even though those are kind of considered ultimates later, but work with me here because these are going to digivolve into something else. Then we have Metal Mamimon X. We have Skull Greymon, G-Erosion mode, so we can take something back from the color from the Godzilla, from the Godzilla device. And then we have Cross Messiah Z, which is from S, so this could be an upgraded form for a Messiah. And the reason I chose this because this is a hybrid. He's both a stag beetle and a pincer beetle. Or no, rhinoceros beetle and stag beetle. So it's a combination of the two. And then, of course, for Megas, we have Omegamon X or Omnimon X. The weird Machingermon from the... I forget the name. And then, of course, we have a Metamon because we have Metabots. However, if we're going to go for a little bit more traditional, something that's more inspired by Cool Boy, the rookies, of course, Agumon X, Gabumon X. And I know what you're going to think about with the... because we have Galmon X. I'll explain why I'm not using that line. Then we have Omekamon, of course, then with Greymon, Garurumon X. Dorogoromon, because it kind of looks like a dragon and wolf together. We have Caesarmon, kind of makes... he's a wolfy boy. Starmon X, and then Dober, because Starmon kind of looks a little bit like Omekamon. Then Dobermon X, and then Alomon X, for another little bit of more dragonish, if you want to. Then we have Magnamon, Ultimate, Metal Greymon X, Warseeger, Weregarurumon X. And then, of course, we have Omnimon X, We could do War Greymon X and Metal Garurumon X, but we're just gonna see Mega. Then of course we have Magnamon X. We could use the Gold Digivoisoid form, and then Galamon X because these are the 3 original Round 9. So I was figuring that Cool Boy would have them. Moving on to Zenith. Now Zenith is just a one-man army, and he's probably going to get a bit of an upgrade. But the Kurumon and Sumanimon lines do... Well, Sumimon does kind of have branching paths with 2 other evolutionary lines. So, of course, we still have Benmon, Snatchmon, Destromon, Galacticmon. But, of course, we go with the standard Sumimon line with Karamon, Chrysalimon, Inframon, Diaboromon, and then Armageddonmon. And then, of course, Arcadiamon can digivolve from Kurumons and then into Arcadiamon in training, but we're going to bypass that, not have that, and just have Arcadiamons, Arcadiamon Champion, Arcadiamon Ultimate, Arcadiamon Mega, and then Arcadiamon Level 7 or Ultra version. So that's that grouping. And then that's that grouping. So let's move on. So we're gonna do, for this version, we're gonna do Yao and Altea because Yao did create Altea, so we're gonna with the novel side. But we have, this is the in-training, so Puyoyomon, and of course we have Sangomon and Swimmon, which we saw. And of course the rookies, we have our Shellmon, Zinshimon, Renamon, and Calamarimon. I could have put this in Ultimate, but I wasn't. I kind of was like, I could make sense of this. I could see this digivolving into Mermaidmon. Let's not go too weirdly crazy. Then we have Tobumon, Mambomon, because why not? He's a fish. Mantaraymon, and then we have Tesla Jellymon. I mean, we got part of the Jellymon line, so it could work, and we got some femininity in it. Then we have Marine Bullmon, the fish. What is this thing's What is this thing? Wankunmon. Yes, Wankunmon. And then of course we have Mermaidmon. Then we have a Ryugamon and Xingpingmon. And then finally, because we learned about this in the reference book and everything, Shagramon is connects to Ryugamon, so of course it'd be Mega. We don't need Ancient Mermaidmon. We just need this. So that's for the Yao. And this is probably the most likely. Then let's move on to Altea. Now we have the Crodiamon. I'm going to probably spell that wrong. Capurimon, and then we have of course the rookies, Espimon and Solarmon. They were in there. For champions, we have Hover Espimon, Blintmon, which we saw in the booster pack. Rinkamon, and this one I was gonna place Rinkamon somewhere else. I was gonna do it for Suzune, but I had a different plan. Then we have Guapomon, and because this guy's stealth, so Seals Dramon, if that makes sense. Clockmon, they're on time with the investigations. Treomon, an alternative to Blintmon, and then Kekimon, because I love Kekimon, and it makes sense to evolve into Bulbmon. And of course, for Ultimates, we have Oblivimon, Bulbmon, or Valvemon. And then we have Strike. I think this is Strikemon, isn't it? No, it's Footmon. Yes, it is. Footmon, yes. This is Footmon. And I wanted to use Mega Gamimon, so the Mega form for the Kamimon line, but I couldn't necessarily figure out a turtle, and this is a machine-based. Footmon is a machine-based, and I think it works nicely for Surfymon. You have a ice skater, you have a disco DJ, or he's kind of up in the air. Capybara, and of course you have the Footmon and Surfymon. So you have a soccer player, then you have a surfer. So that kind of makes sense to me. And of course the other Megas are Invisimon and Raidenmon. If you want to, you could reduce the number of champions and then go with different ultimates to get the other 3 for Raidenmon, but we're just gonna stick how it is. Let's move on. I'm gonna do Yuki and a winner. So this would be a purple purple green combination. The last one was be blue black. So we have Itmons in trainings. Then we have Itmon and then Black Eomon. You could do Soundbirdmon because that was kind of confirmed in Digimon Seekers, not manga, so you could use this, but we're going to stick to the Evil Dragonkin, or Evil Dragon. We're going to stick to thematics. And then, of course, for champions, we got Punkmon, Eismon Scattered Mode, and I'll explain why I'm using War Growlmon X and Growlmon X, and then, of course, Megidramon X. I'm going to explain why I'm using this for this line. Then, of course, we have Devigramon, Black Growlmon, Dark Flarizamon, and then this is kind of more of a cyborg, but the black version of Maildramon kind of makes sense. An evil dragon, dark dragon. Then we have Loudmon, Orichimon, Wargroundmon X, and of course we have Heavy Metal Dramon, Nidogmon, and Megidramon X. And the reason I chose Megidramon X is because of something that is in his profile. It is stated that kind of in the X-Antibody, if you give up on living, then you might be able to catch a glimpse of Megidramon's true form. So I was thinking maybe because Yuki, she loves Digimon and everything, she would be the one to unlock that potential. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like she maybe in our dire moments, that's when all hope is lost, she can unlock Megidramon X, like potentially Chaos Galmon X. That's how it would unlock itself. Then going forward, we have our man Winner, and we have a Poopamon. We have the Fan Beamon. So this is where we're going to diverge a little bit. We're going to do a little bit more B-ish. So we have Fan Beamon, but we have Kunmon. Then, of course, we have our Forge Beamon, our Waspmon. We have Fly Beamon. We have Honey Beamon, Flymon, Hoodymon. I know Hoodymon might not make sense for this, but considering we have a female and Queen Beamon. And then, of course, we have Beetlemon and Metal Kabuterimon, Cyborgs. Kind of makes sense to go along with them. Then we have Vespamon, Cannon Beamon. And because, of course, Flymon did evolve into Jewel Beamon, so that makes sense for that. And, of course, we have Queen Beamon, Tiger Vespamon, and Bancho Stingmon. I don't think if he gets some kind of third evolution line, it'd be very strange, but that's probably the best we're going to get is some sort of, you would maybe use the Kunmon line. It has some sort of insect base. I'd work close with it. That's the best I could think of. The other thing might be a fusion between the two. That's the only other thing I was thinking of. So let's move on to some other pairings. For the not semifinal, but almost the third place, the bronze. No, actually, this would be the semifinals. We're going to do a red and blue, so Ryotaro and Suzune. So we got, of course, Bupamon, Koromon, the both Agumons. So we're going to have a repeat of Agumons. But this line, there's not a lot of dinosaurs, and there's just, I think, too much possibility. So we're gonna change things up. He's going to be one of the unique ones. So, of course, we have Tyrannomon. We have Black Tyrannomon. We have Tyrannomon X, Dark Tyrannomon X, Monochromon, Tuscamon. These are all dinosaurs. Works perfectly. Master Tyrannomon, Metal Tyrannomon, Triceramon, because Triceramon digivolves into Tyrannomon from Digimon Survive, and then Main Tyramon, because he's kind of a pseudo Tyrannomon. I didn't want, you could use X-Tyrannomon, but X-Tyrannomon is its own animal. I just felt like Main Tyramon, and also it kind of works with the other dinosaur bits. So we have Dinomon, Rust Tyrannomon. Then, of course, we have Dinorexamon, because that digivolves from Triceramon, and that is also a dinosaur. And then, of course, we have Spinomon, because why the hell not? You could throw Triceramon X if you want to, and maybe Monochromon X if you so desire, but I kind of wanted to keep it on the more traditional side. And, of course, for Suzune, this is where I thought we would do Rinkmon, but I had different plans. Anyway, so we have Yuki Botamon. We have Hiharimon, and then Penmon and Blukomon. Because Blukomon also had a Snow Agumon, it's included. And just less champions, just a little less champions. We have Frigimon, we have Paledramon, and we have Sorceramon. Sorceramon was with the Agumon. And then Hyogamon, Ice Devimon mix, more Frost Bearings. And then, of course, the two armors are Moosemon and Togetamon. And then for the champions, of course, we have Polymeramon, Crispelgramon, and then Frozomon. Because Hyugamon was featured with Frozomon, I was like, that kind of makes sense. And I know that the support for Ancient Mithurimon could work, but I'm like, I don't know. I wanted a little bit different differentiation, like make it make a non-hybrid family. Just I feel like it wasn't super necessary, and a little bit something a little bit different. Then for Megas we have Scudamon, Hexablaumon, and then we have Frostvelgramon, and it's also a combination. We have a vaccine, data, and then virus, and you couldn't get that with Ancient Mithurimon. So who knows? Maybe she'll get a frostbitten bird. Could happen. Penmon is part of the line. So let's move on to the final groups. All right. Starting off with, we have the Battle NPC. And this is, of course, going to be Wormmon's baby. I think this is Leafmon and then Minomon. And of course, we have Vmon and Wormmon. Wormmon should be over in this sector, but traditional. Then we have XVmon, Stingmon. I thought about doing the black versions, but I decided I just wanted more of the armors. Just we have the armors. We have Flangedramon, Shadramon, which is in the Stardex, and then we have Gold Veedramon because more armors. And if we're gonna reduce the number of champions, just might as well just have some gold coloring. And then Kogumon. Then of course we have Paildramon and Dinobemon, and of course we have the Impildramon Virus and Impildramon Virus Fire Mode, and then Grand Coagamon and Grandest Coagamon. So a little bit shorter one, but still has a good number impact. You don't need to go too crazy. And then finally we have Unchained, and this is more of a prototype version because we don't know what else is going to be included. We just know Machinamon, Mulemon, and Mockingbirdmon. We don't know the other things. But in terms of another rookie, maybe Namon could work. I definitely think Makomon, and for the champion version, Makomon, because it is, Deltamon is a composite Digimon, and Nekanorimon could work because it's similar to Mulemon and be writable. Peacockmon could do for Mockingbirdmon. Lynxmon, because we know it's going to be some sort of Beast Shield, and then Micamon, so that sort of stick. And then possibly for another Ultimate Chimeramon. I do think there might be a Jagras. I'm not 100% sure. So like I said, this is just prototype. I'm more so concentrating on the Ultimates champions. There is probably going to be another champion, so I probably get rid of the Makomon, and then the other versions could say that's my hypothesis. But yeah, that was kind of my idea. Make some V pets, mix and match color. For the Unchained Battle NPC would be a purple steel, so like a Megatron color. That's what I was. And just sort of recapping with the colors. So Altea and Ya would be blue and black. Close and Violet would be a black and purple. We have the Cool Boy with Zenith would be white and black. The Kinosaki sisters, purple and yellow, or yellow purple. Owen Dreadnought and Shota would be green and red. And then Ryotaro with Suzune is red and blue. And then Winter and Yuki would be purple and green. So those are the combinations. Oh, Mugenjinmon F. So yeah, that was my idea. Hopefully you guys enjoy. See you guys next time. And have a wonderful day. And let me know what you kind of have thoughts. If you got anything, some combinations you'd like to see, let me know.